Computer.
Come on, little computer. Need a big
Thanks
computer.
for joining a couple of 90s kids. You're listening to Stuck in My Generation. And we are back. And we're feeling beastie.
Feeling beastie.
I was wanting to collaborate with you before this and be like call you up, be like, how about if we open the show? I go Beast and you go T and I go Boys. I was like, no, that's way too complicated.
Oh, yeah.
Or as soon as it comes on, make the beat drop. Yeah. Obviously, I had a pretty good time with the Beastie Boys, honestly. So
I did too.
Let's talk about it. So we did a week of the Beasties. And Hicks, what was your experience with the Beasties before we did this deep 7, well, technically 8 album studio dive?
Technically 8, man, I was a little bit familiar with the Beasties. I expected there to be some hidden gems in the mix.
Yeah.
The first album, man, I've been down with that since it was released. So I was pretty familiar with that. You and I was thinking about this podcast, and man, it's like you and I are like musical storm chasers. We're chasing a storm. Whatever is bullshit, we're looking for the opposite of that bullshit. Yeah,
we want something that we should have listened to a long time ago, and we just didn't. We want to run into that. Not the Police, where like, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah,
I felt a little reggae, moment for a minute, but it's not going to stick with me. Not going to stick with me.
For sure.
So anything we can find that'll stick with us, or you take an album from, or take the whole discography from, is magical if you can find that moment. And so far, there's been some. I think I'd say the Beatles for me.
Yeah.
What else have we done? The Beatles were one for me.
Beatles, Stones, Tom Petty.
Yeah, Petty was one of those. Wu-Tang, not really. Like, I enjoyed last week, but it didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know when the next time I'll put one of those albums are.
I'm glad we did it, though.
Yeah, me too. Even when I don't like something, I'm glad we did it. So there's really no way to make a mistake in this at all. But so Beasties, you rocked out the first album. Was that it?
No, I was familiar with some other stuff, here and there. But, as far as like the Beastie Boys, man, these dudes they're larger than life. I mean, whether you're a fan or not, they're larger in life. And I wanted to say that they kind of traveled through our generation, but I didn't want to say that, but I kind of want to do that. I mean, they're just spread really over a lot of years. And, it's we kind of watched them evolve a little bit. Well, a lot, really.
Yeah.
But, man, the more I was exposed, or the more I listened to this, I watched Adam Yauch. He went from looking like Booger from the Nerds movie, starting out, to, sipping on tea with the Dalai Lama, which I have a Dalai Lama story, but we're here to talk about the Beasties, not that.
I definitely want to hear that Dalai Lama story, though, because I'm like, that's off the rails. I'm ready for that whenever you're ready.
I'll tell you real quick. It's just a 2-minute story. Was out in San Diego, pulled back into the hotel, black SUVs everywhere, lots of people outside. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is a politician. I just want to go in and, just crash in my bed. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. And man, I walked inside, and the Dalai Lama and I don't mean to be disrespectful, his entourage, I don't know what his, I'm not sure either. Were, and he I pretty much gave him my elevator ride. He had some security, but a lot of people with him, and man, just a happy little dude. That's
pretty cool.
Pretty good energy. Good vibes. Just you go ahead and take my elevator ride. You do your thing. So that's the closest I've ever been to anybody like that. So that's pretty cool. But back to the Beastie Boys.
Definitely.
It's like there's so many sounds. It's like I thought, I was trying to visualize these sounds, and I thought, if there were like three different trains heading towards a centralized location, one train was just blasting punk, one train was blasting rock and roll, one train was blasting hip hop. If they all hit each other at the right moment and caught on fire, the sound that it would be making would be Beastie Boys music.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Man, it just and when I started listening to these albums, I kind of had a roller coaster love-hate. I found a documentary that's available on Apple TV, Beastie Boys Story by Spike Jonze. Man, it just made me love these guys even more. The stuff I wasn't a big fan of. They kind of, and it was them telling their story. I mean, it was unfiltered. It was good. Of course, it was 2 or 3 of the, it was a recent documentary, so Adam Yauch wasn't there, but
yeah.
And they played, and I struggled with some of the songs because I thought, man, this sounds like something from a movie. Something's missing, and there's one song that they played during a little slideshow presentation, the memory of Adam Yauch, and they attached this song to it. And I thought, oh shit, this makes sense. The dude pretty much wrote his own eulogy. And I thought, that's what this song needed. This is before he passed. Of course, it's obvious it's before he passed away.
Yeah.
But after that, man, I was kind of a little bit of a fan of this song. But after that, man, I freaking love this song. So,
yeah.
Man, what do you think? How'd you feel about the albums?
I was kind of a lesser version of what you were going to say. Like I was going to talk about the fusion, and you nailed it with the trains running towards each other on the track. Like there's just a little back history. I don't know if you read much. I didn't read a lot, but Beastie Boys started as a hardcore punk band.
Yeah.
So, just local hardcore punk band. Didn't really get any traction, and then they released a song called Cookie Puss.
Cookie Puss, yeah.
Cookie Puss. It was a hip hop comedy song, and it was like a minute and a half long, 2 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
And that became a local hit. Like not a Billboard hit, nothing like that, but a local hit. And these guys are like, fuck it. Let's just do hip hop. Like if we hit on something, even though it was a joke, and it got that much recognition, how can we go back to hardcore punk? Like, well, got a choice to make. So 3 hardcore punk kids decide to go hip hop. And I read that before I did the dive. The only thing I was familiar with from the Beastie Boys was the hits, Sabotage, Intergalactic, What You Want, few others, No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I knew those, but growing up and listening to, I'm contagious, like that, that rock just outweighed what they were doing at the time to me, because I was more into rock.
I agree.
But the part where I had a lot of fun doing this journey is I appreciate them so much more now than I did back then. So License to Ill, this is the first hip hop album to go number 1 on the Billboard charts. So so you've got some, trailblazers here already. And that album starts out with rhyming and stealing. And back when I was growing up, the reason I didn't like the Beastie Boys that much is I felt like the lyrics were just goofy, know? But fast forward 20 years, the lyrics are fun, and they're hardcore punk lyrics when they start out. It's like, but just with a hip hop twist. Yeah. And these guys are angry, man. Like the weight and power of their voices on this album was, instantly I was like, why the shit didn't I listen to the Beastie Boys that much back then? I know why, because of, all the grunge, but I'm like, man, I wish my thinking would have been just a little bit different, because I could have went and had some great partying with this band on in the background, instead of going to a party where it's like, I put your picture away. Fuck, man. I could have said, put this shit on instead.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't, but I'm glad I got to it now. You knew the first album well. did anything change? Had it been a long time since you had
Oh
listened
my
to it?
God. I tell you what, 30 some years later, the very first track, Rhyming and Stealing, the drum, that is my favorite drum beat
Yeah.
ever. The
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin when the levee breaks. Oh my gosh, just the
Yeah.
power.
And
That
they mixed that
they
with
mixed
a
that.
Black Sabbath guitar riff. So you get John Bonham and, Tony Iommi on a hip hop song. The first hip hop song you hear if you just buy the first Beasties album. And it kind of blew me away. It kind of blew me away.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And just the lyrics and the energy and just it's I hate to use the term raw, but it's just so raw. It's just,
Yeah.
man, it's the kick your fucking door down, where's my money at type of song.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
man, I love it. That's kind of shit that I like.
Are you trying to say it kicked your ass?
It still kicks my ass 35 years later after this
Yeah.
song was released. Just unreal, just the power. Man, the new style, great song. She's Crafty, Led Zeppelin, the Ocean Riff, Posse in Effect. Man, all these songs, just loved them so much.
Yeah.
The girls song, which was in the documentary, they talked about that. I got the impression they felt like this was kind of a mistake making this song.
Yeah.
But they were having a good time. Fight for Your Right to Party. I'm sick of that song. I've been sick of that song for years, hearing it.
Yeah.
Is that the way you feel?
That is the Beastie Boys Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah. I mean, that's just,
thought.
it's fine. It's good. But that's the one we've all heard a million times, whether it's on a movie or, at a bonfire or something like it. You hear that everywhere you go back then. So yeah, that wasn't doing anything for me. That was like the track I wanted to skip, listen to it once. And then anytime I listened to the whole album again, I did skip that song. Great song. Don't get me wrong. Just, there's only so many times you can hear something, especially on a journey like this where you're looking for what you haven't heard.
Sure.
Yeah. Fight for my right to hit next track.
Yeah, sure. I kind of feel the way a little bit about the No Sleep Till Brooklyn. I've heard that song so many times.
I hadn't. So I was in my car going down the highway till Brooklyn,
yeah.
Snip eyes going by and they think I'm doing this. No, I'm saying No Sleep Till Brooklyn, man.
Yeah.
But that one kicked my ass a little bit because I only heard it a handful of times. So
it's a great song. I just heard it so much. I just, man, Paul Revere, Hold It, Brass Monkey, oh shit. It's just so good. Slow and Low. Time to Get Ill. They sampled the Mr. Ed song for shit's sake.
They sampled everything. These guys sampled everything. No, not me.
Not me either. Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they just took pieces of shit that they liked and they made fucking hip hop songs off of it. It was kind of uncanny.
Yeah. And I always hate to throw out the term. I talk about it a lot. The who produces the albums. This was a Rick Rubin. He was affiliated with this album. Def Jam Records, Russell Simmons, which they had. I highly recommend the documentary. Watch if you're a fan or not. Even just watch the documentary. They didn't have a whole lot good to say really with the Def Jam contract,
right?
All that stuff. So, but that's a different type of discussion.
Yeah.
So
we've had that discussion before. Tom Petty, everybody gets pissed off at the record company at some point.
I probably would too if I were them. Yeah. So overall, what'd you think about this album?
I loved it. I mean, it's one I'm going to listen to it fairly regularly. I would say when I feel I've had a bad day or I just feel like starting the morning off right, getting a little, Southern Ohio hooting and hollering, as they say, in my car on the way to work. Cause I'll get down with this album. I'm when people drive by me, they think I'm nuts if I'm listening to this album on the way to work.
Good.
So I loved it. First 8 songs I thought were all just knockouts.
Sure.
Just knocked me on my ass.
Sure.
Paul Revere and Hold It and Brass Monkey, Slow and Low and Time to Get Ill. I had those as good, but just not. I didn't put them in my playlist, so to speak.
Sure.
But they were still good. There's not a
Yeah.
bad song on the album. The first 8 just really smacked me in the face.
Yeah, yeah. It's when I listen to music and I kind of approach it in a manner, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, like we discussed earlier, name one of your favorite rap albums of all time.
Oh yeah, social media post.
When I thought about that, I thought, man, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, if I'm pissed off, if I'm happy, this album, I can always listen to this album no matter what kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah. I can't imagine wanting to turn it off for any reason.
Yeah. So it's just it's really good. I can't really think of anyone who is doing anything like this, really.
No, I mean, hip hop was around, but it was not like this.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, and I think
it had its own brand. It was still good, but like this is just you could tell it was from 3 Punks.
Yeah. And within the documentary, I won't give too much away, but they're like, yeah, we met at a Misfits concert, and we talked about this at a Bad Brains concert. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you guys are just you're fans of everything.
Yeah.
Just everything good, but just
right.
everything, and you can hear it in their music. It's really good. It's just good shit. I love it.
Yeah. First album, man. I was all in. And at the same time, I was worried because I knew it wasn't going to stay that good. Like you just know after that first album, like, let's see, we just went through this with the Woo, even though, it was more me on this part of it, but they really sounded angry on the first album and they just kind of slowly got over it. They're like, we're not so pissed off now. We're just going to rap a little normal. They didn't like bring that fire later on. So I was like, are the Beastie Boys going to be able to keep up the fire?
Yeah. Exactly.
And, there's moments I can't say whether they, did or not, in my opinion yet, but you get to Paul's Boutique. This album was, it was 99% samples for one.
Sure.
For two, they went in a bit of a different direction, and critically it was hated, but over time it's became like a cult classic. I even read that this was their Sergeant Pepper, is what one article.
Oh shit!
One article said that was their Sergeant Pepper, so they just kind of LSD'd it up or something. Not saying they did that, but it's more cerebral and more ambient.
Yeah, you can definitely tell a shift in production, a shift in sound. I think this was the initial steps of them trying to get away from the party boy 25-foot inflatable dicks on the stage.
Yeah.
We want to be taken a little bit more serious, but we're kind of still goofy and fun. I had that my notes say that the Dust Brothers were involved with this. They kind of got away from Def Jam. And it's man, there were I was kind of familiar with this album. I had a love-hate relationship with this album. I listened to it on a Sunday morning while I was doing some work, and I thought, man, this is Sunday morning, church is in session. Sunday morning service. This is my shit. This is good. And I kind of drifted away from it and had the documentary influence me a little bit because it stated that this album was not a flop, but wasn't as popular or successful as their first album. And I thought, screw this album. And then I came back to it and I thought, I still love this album. So kind of, I don't want to have any influence from, like a ranker list or anything. I just want to go into it open-minded.
Yeah. And you know what? I forgot to do that on this episode. I didn't even look.
Did you?
I was too busy listening. I was too busy listening to the Beastie Boys to look.
Yeah. But you and I had a little bit of offline discussion about the music, and we're like, we're beastied out. And then we're like, we're back on it, and, just back and forth. And that's the way I was.
Moments in and out.
I kept coming back. But as far as this album, Shake Your Rump, I can't talk tonight. I'm sorry. Shake Your Rump. Man, had no idea what to expect. I thought that was a jam.
Was a jam.
Johnny Rael. Man, I love that hook. It was just a just told a story. I don't know what that story was because I was too busy jamming, but I thought it was good. Eggman, I thought, man, this is like 1970s, like a New York gangster jam.
Yeah.
And it's so weird just because, uh, I've gone through New York City and it's just like, it's like all these sounds. I mean, their music just sounds like New York. I don't know how to explain that.
It absolutely does.
I don't know.
It's that New York attitude too. New York attitude and the lyrics, New York attitude and the beats and the punches and everything's just kind of.
It just sounds like
right in your face.
It just sounds like the streets of New York City.
Yeah.
Man, High Plains Drifter, man, I've always loved this. I thought, is this a Joe Walsh sample? This sounds like Joe Walsh. I said sample. I'm sorry. I've been drinking a little bit. Joe Walsh.
You just a little Sean Connery. She's like, sample.
Yeah. But I thought, is this a Joe Walsh sample? That's what it sounds like to me. The Sound of Silence, with not a lot, but some of these songs, you really have to listen to all the way through because in the middle of it, it's going to transition into something else.
Yep.
The Sound of Silence, first half, I thought, man, it sounds like a shitty version of the Beatles. Then the second half was a jam. I thought, man, this is good. Hey, ladies.
It did that a lot.
It did that a lot. It was surprising, and it wasn't easy to, when we were listening to Black Sabbath Dio, we knew what to expect. No disrespect, but I skipped over that shit because I knew what it was going to be like.
Yeah, no disrespect, but I set it on fire, all of it.
Yeah, it sucked. But, I had to really focus and listen to it. Hey, ladies, man, I've been down with that jam since it was released. It was just a funky jam. Really liked it. 5-piece chicken dinner. What the hell is this? What the hell is this?
I got that down as a total jam right there. No, I'm joking, man.
Okay.
I laughed so damn hard when I heard that. And I was like, is this the intro of something? Like, no, it's not an intro. It's just 5-piece chicken dinner. Fucking banjo. Sounds like you're at a campfire in Nelsonville. Like it's
and I wanted it to be so good just because of his fucking.
I mean, it was good if you like them little 5-second ditties of country bumpkin loving.
Banjo runs. I'm not a big fan of banjo runs.
It's like shit. Am I at the Wagon Wheelers right now?
Then you come across Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun.
Good song.
Oh my God, what a good song. And if you listen, I tell you what, with the Beastie Boys music, I started out listening through a Bluetooth speaker. Once I put the AirPods in, I could hear so much more. Yep. I highly recommend, if you're going to listen to this stuff, listen to it with some type of headphones because you're going to hear so much more. But it's obvious no matter how you're listening to it. But the Mississippi Queen guitar riff.
Oh yeah.
Just adding a little bit of pepper to the broth. Oh my God. It's just so good. So good.
Fantastic. And you said you need headphones. Like this is, here I go again. I don't even care. You know how you and I have talked about how Tool has all those hidden layers and those little things and those little dings. Beastie Boys did this with samples and sounds, and some of this shit sounds like they coughed into a mic and cut it up, and it was like, I mean, there's so much abstract, crazy, random shit in this music if you just put on headphones and listen to all the little nuances. It's nuts, dude. How do you do that in the 80s, late 80s, without computers? I know how they did it, but like, how long did it take to make a Beastie Boys album? It was nuts. That shit was nuts for 1988, 88, 89, 92, whatever these two albums were.
Sure.
I know 86 was the first one, but the shit in this music is nuts. It's ahead of its time.
Yeah. Oh, I agree totally. I was going to say the next song on my list, the Car Thief song. The lyrics, homeboy go in a tower because your girl got dicked by Ricky Power. I don't know who Ricky Power is, but I thought, man, you just got dissed so hard in a Beastie Boys song. I love that shit. It's just real.
Well, it cracked me up too. Like in one of the songs he's talking about, I can't remember which one. It's the taller, skinnier guy that's fucking hilarious and always wide-eyed. Which one is he?
Mike
Is it
D?
Mike D? I think he's
Yeah,
Mike
I
D.
think you're talking
But
about
like
Mike D.
one of the other guys are singing about trying to get with the girl, and she's like, she's over there jacking Mike D, and I was like, what's going on? Like
Yeah.
they just wrote about whatever the hell they wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. But and man, their lyrical approach, they toured a little bit with Run DMC, and I could tell that they had that. You start the sentence, I'll finish this sentence, but instead of two different parts like Run DMC, it was the three guys just finishing each other's parts, and there was nothing like that before, from my opinion. Really
No.
good.
Especially splitting up a sentence between the three of them and not just jumping in at different times, but like actually like the whole Beastie Boys, like nobody did that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Beatles harmonized, but they didn't do that.
They didn't do that. And it's just,
Nobody did that.
I tell you, it's smart.
Yeah.
It's a very intellectual approach. Whereas, like I said, you've got the dude that looks like Booger from the Nerds movie, and I was not expecting this much. I just expected it to stay goofy, and it didn't. But back to this album, the song Shadrach, I think it's how you pronounce it. Man, I love this shit. I thought, man, this is freaking good. Ask for Janice, Hendrix sample. Didn't care too much for the vocals, but it was really good. And I have another note, the 3-minute Rule song, the lyrics within it: roses are red, the sky is blue, got my barrel at your neck, what the fuck you gonna do?
Yeah.
I thought, man, that's just a badass, that's some gangster shit. That's the kind of shit that I like.
Yep.
It's just really good. I mean, what was your overall impression with this album?
Mine was a little more woo like.
Okay.
This album, I've got a handful of hits on it. 5-piece chicken dinner, standout song, and I'm just kidding. Damn you notifications. Shake Your Rump, I thought was awesome. Eggman was awesome. Looking down the barrel of a gun was awesome. I like the sound of Science a lot. I felt like there was a Beatles riff in there too. I don't think it was a Beatles riff, but it was Beatles-esque. And that's kind of the rest of it I thought was good, but nothing else stood out to me. So even though I knew this was kind of an album that was highly held by people that followed them and fans, like it became a cult classic, I didn't love it. I mean, I thought it was good. Like I like the ambience of it. I thought it was kind of relaxing, but I was still wanting to punch the air on the way to work to, License to Ill. So I liked it. It might be one of those things that grow on me way later, but I didn't love it.
Okay. I understand that, man. I understand. I kind of have it, like I said earlier, I kind of had a love-hate relationship with this album. Listen number 1, I liked it. Listen number 2, man, I don't know. Listen number 3, I came back and, I dug it. So it's just, maybe it was the type of mood that I was in at the time I was listening to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Or I might not have got it yet. I think I listened to this one 3 times. So maybe if I go back to it a couple more times, something clicks. Maybe,
man, 3 times is enough.
Yeah, but
joke for 3 times.
Great thing is I still enjoyed it. It was just I got a big dose of that first album, and that was like, here's some adrenaline, and then right after I got the adrenaline, it's like, here's some really funky, crazy shit, and I just went to a different place on that, and I'm still wanting to be pumped. So I think that's a part of it. I did try to go back to it a lot, but there's just something missing, I guess. I don't know if it was the lack of punch in their voices, or I'm not sure. It just left me a little half full.
Okay, I understand. Sure. I respect that opinion. Yeah.
But what I'm really interested in is the next few albums, because I've got pretty strong opinions.
Okay.
And I'm very eager to hear what you thought of Check Your Head to start with.
Okay, Check Your Head. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good album. I'll go through, I don't want to go through every song. Jimmy James, Funky Boss, man, very good. Pass the Mic. Just the mixes. Really, I mean, they kick my ass. The mixes really grab a hold of me. I have the song Gratitude. I said, oh shit, we've got some instruments coming in. Good shit, Lighten Up was kind of kind of calm you down after the gratitude song. Finger licking, man, I sing that in my head all the time now.
Yeah, finger licking is good.
That's good. So what you want? Good song. I knew that was a good song before I listened to the rest of this album. It's got Biz in it. This album has Biz Marquee.
Yep.
Biz. You can't go wrong with Biz. As far as the punk stuff, when they kind of toss in the punk stuff, I'm kind of not ready for it. I'm kind of not in the mood for it, which can be a good or bad thing. But it's punk Beastie. I don't know. I have to be in the mood for punk.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think if that is what they would have stuck with, and that's what we knew them as, maybe it would be an okay punk band, but that's not what we know them as. So when they did that, I wasn't digging it at all. I mean, I wasn't really digging the punk songs whatsoever, because I was like, that's just not who they are. I mean, it is. That's who they were.
Yeah.
And they changed because they saw success and they kind of adapted. But to us, that's not who they were. So I was, the punk stuff, I was one and done with that. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. I can go through some other songs. Nothing really pulled me in really a whole lot. It was just good. Some of it I have like kind of a minor league Red Hot Chili Peppers jams a little bit.
I can see that.
A little bit of Sublime sound. I can't even read my writing. The very last song, I thought, man, this sounds like an LSD trip.
Yeah. And something else I meant to mention with the last one that I'll just mix.
Sure,
with
go ahead.
This album is this is where not a lot, but there's a pretty steady dose of instrumentals within these albums. And I was conflicted with that a little bit. So,
sure.
but yeah, there's, some of them, I like the beats and I like the noises they make, but I dig the full Beastie sound or not at all.
Okay.
And so the instrumentals, I was like, man, they sound cool, but I couldn't really get into any of them. And with this album, it started to become a little much for me.
Okay. Yeah. I can see why. It just, it was just okay for me. It didn't really, nothing really, it didn't grab a hold of me the way I was wanting it to.
Yeah. So did you like Paul's Boutique more than Check Your Head?
I would say, yeah. I would say so.
I did too. Cause Check Your Head, I have, Staying Together, Finger Licking Good, Pass the Mic, Gratitude, and So What You Want as tracks I like. And then the rest of them kind of fell flat for me. But in their defense, on an album I didn't love, 5 really good songs on an album that's good. That's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
So wasn't my favorite by any means, but it was listenable. Again, I'm not really skipping tracks. I'm just not loving tracks except for those 5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was okay. It was okay.
We got, let me see. I'll make sure I don't have any other notes on that album. I don't. Communication. I'm going to start right now with Sabotage.
Okay.
Growing up, I just got done telling my wife this too. You hear that song growing up when it's popular.
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, and I remember my first thought when I was younger, this is pretty cool, but it's not as good as this, because it was more of a rock song. Sabotage was. I mean, it was like, there wasn't that much hip hop in it. So that being one of those popular Beastie Boys for that time, I was like, well, you got Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Tool and this and that and this and that, and you got all this Alice in Chains heavier rock music. I was like, Sabotage is cool, but nothing special. That's what I thought then. Now is a completely different story. Like now I hear Sabotage and it sounds brilliant too.
Yeah.
Like
I know
brilliant.
exactly what you're saying.
Like I'm like, this song is a fucking banger. Why didn't I think that back then?
Oh my God, it's a banger. That opening bass riff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's just
like that movie I Love You, Man. They were slapping the bass.
Oh man, it's so good. And it's kind of like they're bringing a little bit of the energy back. You know, so I agree. I had a, you know, kind of. I'm like you. When Sabotage came out, there was so much more. There were so many more songs that I enjoyed. So it was,
Yeah.
you know, it was kind of like a last resort.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
That's a perfect way to sum it up. It was kind of like it was a last resort. And now that we're sick of all the stuff that made it a last resort, I hear that now and I'm like, oh, I just saw the light. Like
yeah.
this is a jam. This is my shit right here. I was like, and I've heard this song a million times. Like, why now do I hear it? I'm like, yeah, like
Oh my God,
that's what I want.
there's a live performance of this. I don't know if it was during an MTV performance or MTV Awards.
I watched one on it was Letterman. I think it was Letterman. They did a Letterman performance.
Okay.
And like whenever he would scream the what, like it was knockout. They were fantastic live. This is one of the moments where you and I said beastied out.
Yeah.
I watched that video in Intergalactic from the VMAs in whatever year, re-energized completely, went back to the albums and saw them in a whole new light. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing just the roller coaster of, you know, leaving and coming back and leaving. And
yeah,
that's
it's like you had to figure it out. It wasn't as transparent as the last handful of bands we've done.
yeah. And I threw a comment to you, you know, out of all the reviews we've done, this is the one that's fucked with my head the most.
Yeah, I didn't quite get what you meant then, but I get it now.
Yeah, it's because like, man, I need to get away from this shit. Man, I need to get back to this shit. Man, I need to get away from this shit. And, you know, I was just struggling with really locking in, but it just kept drawing me back in. Maybe I was just trying to take in too much at one time. I don't know. But as far as this album, you know, a little bit of the punk stuff, you know, we talked about that during the previous album. Just kind of really, you know, it's all right. One of the lyrics I got a kick out of, I think it was B-Boys, fat face lies like Russell Simmons steals money. You know, he's kind of bashing their first album Contract, where I heard they didn't get too much money from that.
Didn't sound like it got much at all.
Yeah. They kind of bailed out of the contract and broke up for a little bit. Root Down, man, that's a jam. I love it. Of course, we talked about Sabotage. Get It Together. I think this is the song that there was one song that Q-Tip was involved with. Big fan of Q-Tip. Man, I was disappointed in this song. I was expecting more with Q-Tip.
Yeah, I wasn't jamming that one either. For me, real quick, it was Sure Shot, Sabotage. That's really all I loved on this album. The rest of it was okay. Just like the prior two albums, it was like, I'm not skipping the track. It's fine. It's good, but I don't love it. It didn't, you know, I made the old playlist. 2 songs out of this made it. So the rest of them I can do with or without for a while. And until I just want to go listen to the whole album, and I'll listen to it start to finish.
Yeah.
But another fairly weak one for me, which sucks. Because I'm still into them, and somehow I'm still way into them. Even though I don't love the album, when those songs come on, I'm all into it, and then I just come down on the ones I don't love that much. It's like I'm still all about the Beastie Boys, even though I'm not loving the albums. It's crazy.
Sure, yeah, I completely agree. You know, I got to track number 11. My notes say Getting Bored. Track 12, meh. Track 13, oh my God, you guys need to drop this distorted mic bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not working. I'm getting tired of that. Track 14, Biz Saved Your Ass. Track 15, Snoozer.
Was that Flute Loop? There was one of them called Flute Loop. And it was a flute.
That's the one I had distorted, reverby mic. Yeah. I could hear the reverb springs in the mic. Just dump that shit. That's not working out for you. So after that, I started coming downhill. I thought, man, I need to listen to something else. I don't know. This shit's getting boring to me.
Yeah. Yeah. This was another moment where I was starting to get beastied out all over again.
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, you know what? I'm getting beastied out again, but I know what's next, and it's Hello Nasty. And I knew that Intergalactic was on that album, and I knew how much I loved Intergalactic, but It's going to be quick for me. This becomes the newest, weakest album for me because Intergalactic was the only song I really dug, and the rest of it I thought was just like too much going on.
Yeah.
Like if you put your headphones on, then your mind's gonna break trying to follow all the sounds that they crammed into this futuristic whatever the hell they were doing. Like Intergalactic worked for me, but the rest of it was like it was just a little too zippy zappy video game-ish, like it was just a little too much of that shit.
Sure,
and I was like, I can't find anything I love on this.
Yeah.
I hope you've got more to say about it than that, because that is literally all I have to say about it.
You know, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this. You know, this album, I revisited it. Man, it kind of, I listened to it all the way through, you know, pretty heavy. You know, some of it kind of, I was doing some work and listening to this, and it kind of distracted me. It pulled me away from that work, which was a good thing. But
yeah, work sucks.
Yeah, work sucks. Super disco breaking. I enjoyed the music to that. I have the second.
I did too. I did enjoy that a little bit. I didn't add it because I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. The song Move, track 2. Okay, we've dropped the distorted mic. Thank God. That was what the notes I have for track 2. Remote control, track number 3. Damn good guitar riff sample. The rest of the song, man. Song for the Man wasn't for me. The song Just a Test, which I'm a big fan of a big, thick, stand-up bass sound.
Yeah.
An example, one of my all-time favorite rap songs, Don't Sweat the Technique by Eric B. and Rakim. Just a big, heavy jazz bass. Just really good. Body moving. You know, I had my body moving.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Intergalactic. It's a banger to me. Love it.
It is a banger. Especially after you watch it live and go back to it. You just, you know, I'll sing it and do this shit in the house. Like, I'll do the robot and crap. It's that good.
But I tell you, I'm a huge fan of a good DJ, you know, ever since I was a kid. You know, when I'd hear record scratching, I thought, oh my gosh, I love this shit. I'm going to fast forward up to track number 12, I believe it is. 3 MCs and a DJ featuring Mix Master Mike. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be so good. And I was so disappointed. I thought as good
I thought it was going to be great.
I thought it was going to be great. And I was so disappointed. I thought, man, you should have threw some better shit out there. A little bit of biz in between. Song for Junior, I believe. I have Viva Carlos Santana, which, you know, I like Santana, you know, not my favorite, but
right.
And then you come across the song I Don't Know, which is the Beatles-esque melody groove. This was the song that was played, without giving anything away regarding the documentary. This is the song that was played in the documentary during the in memory of / celebrating Adam Yauch's life. Going through some slides, black and white photos, they played this song, which he had written. Did not like this song at first. After I saw that was the missing piece.
Yeah.
Went together and it drew me back in. I listened to this song like 6 times in a row. I
can't wait to watch the documentary now.
Watch the documentary. Man, it had me so choked up. It really did. It's just that part in particular. I thought, okay, this song makes fucking sense now.
Right.
And I went back and just love it. It's almost, not to give anything away, it's almost like he wrote his own eulogy, you know? And I thought, damn, this is really good. But other than that, you know, picture this song. I said, this song sounds like a 007 spy sneaking in a villain's house to kiss the villain's wife and sneaking back out. You know, it's just kind of corny, you know, filler.
Yeah.
You know, just meh. So,
yeah. It was a crazy album. I mean, it was another kind of almost another trendsetter. It was just had a crazy sound to it. I just still wasn't loving that sound for some reason. But I mean, it's, again, like I listened to it without wanting to turn it off. That's the thing about the Beastie Boys and why I'm so still excited, even though I've pissed on the last 3 or 4 albums. Like, it doesn't even matter that I didn't love them because they're still good. Like, they're still good. It's just didn't kick my ass good. And they, how someone tells you, go watch this movie, it's the best damn movie you'll ever see. It made this much money and all these actors and the twist and da-da-da-da-da, and you build it up too much. Then you see that movie and it was great, but you were expecting more because everyone told you it was the second coming. Like it was that good. The Beastie Boys kind of did that to me. They gave me that first album and they gave me 2 or 3 hits like that off the next 3 or 4 albums. And it's like, man, they got me so amped up for this. And now it was great, but they didn't live up to what they sold me, but still great. Then we get to album number 6, and I wonder if this is where we switch roles.
We get to album number 6, and I hate to do this. I need to take a piss. I need 20 seconds. I'm going to have to stop drinking when I'm doing this.
It's the weekly episode of I Gotta Take a Piss. This is where I talk about politics, religion, and all things that we really want to talk about. Hicks will be back in a moment. Let's talk religion. Not really. Beastie Boys. I mean, obviously I like them. I feel like I'm crapping on them a lot. And Hicks is digging them a little more. It's like the woo in reverse. Now I'm the one that's being a hater, but I'm not, because it really is that good. By the way, their name as the punk band that they started out as was Young Aborigines. I'm not editing this stuff. That's too many mistakes. Young Aborigines. 1983 was the year they released Cookie Puss and decided they're no longer a punk band. They're going to go hip hop. So 1983 transition, hardcore punk band into hip hop. Thank God Hicks is back, because I probably just sounded like a broken record.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that.
Hicks heard every word. Worst piss break filler out of my mouth in a long time. And
I'm sorry.
Awful. That was an awful sounding line that I just said. Piss filler in my mouth or something like that. That was terrible.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I did my best. I went through some notes and people were probably like, you already talked about that.
Yeah.
Number 6,
Number
5 boroughs. And Hicks's bladder is fully drained and ready to rock and roll. Keep drinking, son. This shit don't need to be edited. We don't care. People don't mind hearing us fuck up. Let's roll.
Everybody pisses.
Drink, son. I've got raspberry lemonade in this cup.
Yeah, okay. Album number 6.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I bet it is. Came out in 2004. Check it out. I thought this is a jam. This is one of the only songs I've ever enjoyed that contained intentional stuttering.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it worked.
You didn't like change is time to change.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I don't even know. What's that from? All I can think of is Shrek. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah. Changes. It's David Bowie, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We'll get there too. We'll get to David Bowie eventually.
We'll get to Bowie.
Yeah.
Let's see. 3 the Hard Way. Love the groove. Don't love the lyrics and vocals a whole lot. Rhyme the Rhyme Well. Man, got a story to tell. We already know you have a story to tell. You said that 3 albums ago. Triple Double. Love this 80s inspired sound. Takes me back to being that's what music's about. Taking you somewhere else. Takes me back to being a kid. DJ record scratching. Love this shit. Got up to song number 9. I closed this shit out and started listening to Tool 10,000 Days. That album.
Okay.
I thought I'm getting bored of this shit.
I need to bug out.
And I went over to Tool, listened to 10,000 Days, and I'm like, oh gosh, yes, this is some good shit. So the first 1/3 of this album, I thought, it's okay. The last 66%, I thought, I'm freaking bored. How'd you feel?
This album, I'm going to start out with the song Crawl Space. And there's a good reason that I'm starting out with that song. Crawl Space is the only track on this album that I did not like.
Okay.
I fucking love this album.
Okay.
Like, top to bottom, it has the whole album's on my playlist except for Crawl Space, and I almost felt bad and added it because I was like, it's good, and I'm one song away from a whole album on my playlist. But I thought To the Five Boroughs was fucking brilliant.
Okay.
Like top to bottom, brilliant. And maybe this is just my tastes. No instrumentals in this shit.
Yeah.
Every single song is a fucking rap song.
Okay.
Every single one. I don't know why. Like, I was at work filing papers, which is the most mundane task in the world besides peeling potatoes.
Sure.
But I had this just playing on my phone, and I was just fucking grooving the whole time. I'm like, Sanders, Williams, just getting down. Filed like 500 papers in a day happily because I had this shit jamming. I don't know why, because the sound was different. MCA's voice was, Adam Yauch, his voice sounded weathered. It sounded rough. This was 2004. I don't think he was sick yet. But I mean, it just sounded, his vocal cords sounded shot, and I loved it. It was just gravelly and old dirty bastard like. Sure. I was like, man, this album hit me hard. I'm going to listen to this album on the regular. And I don't even know why. I just thought it was great top to bottom. Like, every single song got me moving. So I had to test this shit in my office on those speakers and test it in my car to make sure the phone wasn't just playing tricks on me with its real thin speaker. And it wasn't. I absolutely loved this album and was not expecting to at all. I thought the Beasties, I'm going to be beastied out, and I'm not even going to want to go back to any of this stuff or after Licensed to Ill. I was afraid that I wasn't going to have much of a playlist, and I got to this album, freaking loved it, man. Good. Absolutely loved it. Good. It was my Sabotage by Black Sabbath.
Yeah, good. It's and that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
Hello Nasty kind of did the same thing for me. I was trying to do some work, and I went back and I had to stop, and I'm like, oh my God, I was really somewhere else. I screwed this work up, but that's a good thing. That's
damn work.
That's a good thing. I caught myself, but I thought this music took me away, and that's what I want music to do. I want it to take me somewhere else, get me away from this boring ass shit. So I'm glad that this, and honestly, this is the one album. Well, no, this isn't the one album. This is like one of the 3 albums I did not go back and revisit. I did not give this album another chance.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to, I listened to it one time.
Maybe. Hard to tell. That's another thing about just this deep dive. Like, I have a feeling I'm going to go back to some of these albums later, because I will. It won't be soon on some of them, but in a matter of like a month, 2 months, something like that, I'm going to end up wanting to revisit some of these, and I don't know how. It could be a different story. Like, this is the kind of group that could do that to me.
Exactly.
It could be a completely different story in a month.
And it's crazy. I don't know of any other bands that I've really, or groups that I've listened to that's really kind of swayed me back and forth like the way this group has. I mean, it's usually, I love these guys. I can't stand these guys or girls.
Yeah.
And with these, it's love, hate. It's back and forth, kind of depending on the mood and stuff. And I might have been in a shitty mood when I listened to this album.
Yeah. And that might have been me on the previous 2. I don't know yet. This is
you don't get in shitty moods. You don't get in shitty moods.
I wish to God I didn't get in shitty moods, man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have wanted to talk to me in person yesterday. I wasn't angry. I was just like, man, everything sucks. Everything sucks. I was fucking Eeyore yesterday, man. Like, I don't want to listen to the Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, I have a feeling some of this shit's going to grow on me. So it's almost a shame that we only take a week for a band like this when they probably deserve a week and then take a week off and go back. I couldn't do it 2 weeks straight
I couldn't do
because
it
I
2 weeks
don't want to
straight
do anything 2
either,
weeks
but,
straight.
you
That's
know, I totally agree. It was like, oh my gosh, sometimes there's so much I want to say. I don't think I can fit it in one episode, in one
yeah,
discussion. So it's, I know what you mean. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. It might need maybe one of these days if we just are burnt out, we do a follow, just almost like a season ending episode where
Sure.
we rank all the bands we've listened to after we get to like 10 or 15 or something like that. Maybe we just do a revisit of
Recap.
season
Yeah.
1, so to speak. Yeah, recap. Ross, Rachel, they love each other, they don't. What happened? We'll do that.
Yeah.
But next album, I'm interested in your thoughts if you have any, but mix it up. The whole damn thing's instrumentals. So I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I want to hear somebody talk on an album, and I can't.
I want to hear somebody talk, and I actually have this going back to, I said, is this the Beastie Boys Sgt. Pepper album? That's what I have with this, because they're kind of sick of everything. Won a Grammy for Best Pop Instrumental, probably the only one in that category.
Yanni was Yanni? Kenny G, maybe? Yanni?
Kenny G.
I don't know.
But I have Minor League Chili Peppers sound, Chad Smith drum beats, and I have a lot of this music. If I heard this without looking at my phone, I would not guess who. I couldn't guess who this was. The only notes I have on this, really, the song "The Cousin of Death" sounds like the Black Keys. Sounds like some Black Keys music. You have to go back and listen to that. I don't know a lot about the Black Keys, but I kind of got that feeling from that song. But the song titled "Biscuits and Butter," I thought, oh shit, this is going to be good. It was not good. I mean, it was just okay. I don't know what they were doing with this.
I mean, they did seem to enjoy making and creating the sounds that they made. Yeah. So maybe this was just an experiment. I mean, these guys, they were punks. They did whatever the hell they wanted.
They did what they wanted.
And you saw that from start to finish, even though we're not at the finish quite yet.
Yeah.
We've seen it from start to this point. They're just doing whatever they want. And it's even though I didn't love the album, I still think it's cool, and I'll probably listen to it again sometime. When I'm driving somewhere and I'm like, I want some music, but just background. I don't want to have to sing along. Boom. Maybe I'll put on the mix up.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It was just not what I was expecting, not what I was looking for. I just kind of.
Yeah. And I'm sure they knew that. And I'm sure they understand this album was only for certain people, really. And that I'm not one of those people. Couldn't dig it. Yeah. Hot Sauce Committee, Part 2.
Yeah.
Before we dive deep into this, did you end up watching? That's why I've sounded weird the whole time.
What are you doing?
I have all the mics on around me. Smart motherfucker right here, man.
All right.
Anyways, I never mess up the audio this much, but Hot Sauce Committee Part 2, I sent you a video, and it was called, what was that? The Fight for Your Right Revisited. Did you end up watching that half an hour of entertainment? I did not know. I just thought that was some kind of a special. Look it up if you haven't seen it. Fight for Your Right Revisited. It's a 30-minute video on YouTube. I thought it was some kind of comedy special or some kind of like just special throw together. What I didn't know was that it was the full-length version of two singles on Hot Sauce Committee Part 2.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I didn't really recognize the music.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, which album was this off of? I didn't recognize it. I'm just too entertained by Seth Rogen and Danny McBride and Elijah Wood playing the Beastie Boys, meeting the future Beastie Boys of Will Ferrell, Jack Black, and John C. Reilly. And it was so many celebrity cameos in this thing.
Sure.
Like, it took me forever to see Kirsten Dunst. I was like, is that? That's Kirsten Dunst. Like, she's doing drugs with the Beastie Boys. Kirsten Dunst, of all people. And the whole thing just cracked me up. And that, like you with one of those albums we talked about earlier, seeing that pulled me into this album a little bit. Because I had jumped to it earlier in the week just to mix it up, see what was going on, and I wasn't digging it. But by the time I got to it and saw that half hour of comedic genius,
That's
which
the
also
piece that
had the
was
Beastie
missing.
Boys, which had the Beastie Boys arresting the other Beastie Boys at the end. They were the cops.
Yeah.
But it pulled me right into this one. I didn't love it, start to finish, nothing like that. It wasn't the
Yeah.
5 boroughs for me.
Yeah.
Five boroughs. I'll start shouting that out. People be like, "What's he talking about?"
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Like best Beastie Boys album since License to. But yeah, this other album, I enjoyed it. I dug it. I liked the sound. There was a lot of lyricism, not a lot of instrumentals. I dug it quite a bit. I'll end up going back to it, but it didn't knock me on my ass or anything. But I thought it was a really good end. Like they didn't make anything bad from start to finish, in my opinion. It was all good in some way or form. Some of it was just great.
Yeah, I understand that. With this album, lots of fun grooves. I was actually singing to one. I think it was the song "Nonstop." How you feeling, Ad Rock? I was like, how you feeling, Jay Bark? I was changing the lyrics on that. Yeah. The song "Too Many Rappers." I tell you what, the first 60 seconds of that song kicks my fucking ass.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. That shit just, man, and it's just really good. The song "Say It," "Distorted Mics," "Killed the Jam." There's a time and place for that. Let me see what else I have. Lots of 70s grooves that are fun. The song "Crazy Ass Shit," "Let Me Introduce You" was part of the lyrics. Man, we already know who you are. You don't need an introduction. It's kind of, we already know. So I wasn't a big fan of this album. It was just okay.
Yeah, I was digging it a little more than that, but it wasn't anything crazy for me. I was just, by the time I finished it, it was like watching a long running season of a TV show that starts out great and stays good enough to keep you going to the end.
Okay.
Like that's pretty much how I would sum up the Beastie Boys. I was like, this show is fucking awesome. And by the end of it, I'm like, kind of glad it's over, kind of sad it's over. Like I kind of want more of this, but I'm kind of okay with it ending here. So, Beastie Boys album 1 to album 8, pretty satisfying for me.
Yeah.
Dug it a lot. Plan to go to them some more. But yeah, I mean, it definitely is keeping us on the hip hop trail. Like I enjoyed this more than the last few bands that we did, and more than Wu-Tang. So this is up there for me with the like Beatles and Petty, and this is up there with it. This was a good experience.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I mentioned earlier, I hate to repeat myself, but it was kind of pushing me away and dragging me back in, and pushing me away and just on and on. And it was, I like that. I don't know how to explain it. And like I said, maybe it was based on the moods that I was in at the time. But and you go back and listen, and you hear, the second time around, you hear so much more.
Yeah.
I mean, you miss out on stuff. It's hard to explain. I don't know of any other artists. I mean, I just don't know. And with the people that they were, I think people really loved them.
Yeah.
It's the people that there was. Not giving too much away, but in that documentary, they actually, I don't know if they were performing at a concert with the Aerosmith Run DMC thing. They may have opened up a little bit for that. And Adam Yauch actually came out during the Walk This Way Run DMC. And he was playing bass, and Joe Perry's like, "Who's this dirtball motherfucker?" Playing bass, and he killed it. He was doing really good with it, and he was like he was chasing Joe Perry around the stage, wanting to, hey, I want to jam with you, and he's like, get the fuck away from me. So it's just really It's just, I mean, how could you not like these guys?
I loved
mean-
him, man, and I plan to watch a lot more live shit in that documentary. So, and this is one of those things too. Love the discography, but have your low points. You know what? This is that band where you're going to be looking up live videos for a while, like their live performances. Like I know that I'm going to focus on them on YouTube whenever we're taking breaks from what's next, which is probably LL Cool J, folks.
LL Cool J.
We're not done yet. We signed a contract with hip hop for 3 straight episodes.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Let me clear my throat. I am the cheesiest dad joke guy in the world.
That's good.
Good times. See, that's another thing about the Beastie Boys. Kick it. There's so many one-liners in this shit. It's like a great sitcom with fucking Bazinga in it or something. You know, like you hear kick it, you hear let me clear my throat, you hear let the beat drop, like you know who it is.
You know who it is.
Know who it is. And it's like people are probably going to get sick of me at the workplace when I walk by. And I'm like, let me clear my throat. Like, like what the hell's wrong with this guy? Like, I'm that guy. I don't care. So I say stupid stuff. Thanks, Beastie Boys. Making me a little bit more of a rowdy workplace worker.
No, that's good.
Workplace worker.
Anyways. Worker. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pumped to watch more live shit. Pumped about LL Cool J.
I am too.
I mean, I'm on a kick, man. I'm just, the rock break wasn't just a 1 or 2 week thing. Like the Woo we needed something to follow up the Woo. Sure, and this was a damn good follow up.
I think it was too.
LL Cool J is going to be good too. I don't know how many albums there are. I'm scared to death, but
yeah, I'm scared to look.
To look. I mean, he's been around for a long time. I think the last 3 or 4 albums are called like NCS, New Orleans 1, 2, and 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm scared of
it's not New Orleans. He's at LA or something. I know he's on one of those shows now. So maybe there's not as many albums. Oh yeah, NCIS Los Angeles or something.
If he's anything
Chris
else,
O'Donnell, I think him and Robin.
Just don't tell me anything else because I'll lose fucking respect for him. So, just like Ice-T. Oh my God. 1 minute Ice-T's.
He's so good at SVU though.
Is he? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I can't watch that shit.
I don't like stuff like that, but that's one of the few, you know, at SVU. Wife's got me watching Criminal Intent as well. Like I dig him, but yeah, Ice-T's real damn good in that shit. Do you know about his metal band?
Oh yeah, shit. Don't tell me.
I forgot the name of it now too.
I've been drinking.
Damn. Holy crap.
He did the Cop Killer song.
Yeah. But yeah, his metal band, like that's fun shit to listen to too. It's like a little bit of Beastie Boys, but they inject some Slipknot in there.
I had that album. Oh my gosh.
I forgot too. I went completely blank, but
Vapor Locked.
Yeah.
40s.
I'll help unlock us here.
Oh my God.
I keep wanting to say Cheap Trick, like Ice-T, Cheap Trick. Ah! Not true.
I'm gonna be so disappointed in myself when you say it. I can't think of it. Body Count.
Damn it. You beat Google. You beat Google.
I beat that googly.
You beat
Body
Google.
Count. That's it.
Body Count. Crazy stuff. So if you haven't listened to Ice-T's hardcore, band, Body Count.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to go on a dive someday, but probably in like 2024.
Yeah, after we get through so many others.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the Beastie Boys?
This is something that I need to go back and I'll go back to some of these albums and give them a shot. But there's so much. There's just so much sound, so many sounds that exceed my bandwidth. I just can't wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and oh my God, the live stuff. Them performing with Mix Master Mike. Oh my God, it's just like the stage is burning.
Yeah,
it's just the power, just the energy, and just unbelievable. And that's the kind of shit that I like.
Do you remember? Came up randomly because you said Mix Master Mike. So I don't know if you heard the phone call recording on one of the albums of Mix Master Mike calling. And then there was also Felicia she was like, there was a song, Felicia calls in and she's like, "Hey Adam, this is Felicia, da da da, bye. Hey Mike, this is Felicia, da 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 da, bye." And then the other member, I can't remember, refresh my memory. Mike D, Adam Yauk, and other dude. She's like, "Yeah, other dude." And as soon as she's done calling all three on the track, like it ends, and you hear, I think Mike D go, "Because no one gives a fuck about Felicia." Like nobody answered the call, and it just ends with that. And it's like, these guys are hilarious.
They're
like
hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious.
They're hilarious, and that shit's real. And
Yeah.
that's them fucking off with a microphone on. You know,
Yep.
it's just, oh, it's so good. I love
It's
it.
just creative as hell. I mean, it was a good time, damn good time. Even throughout some of the other stuff, like cracking up over 5-piece chicken dinner, you know, like the shit that they threw on their albums, they were seriously just like, fuck it, you know, throw it on there. And
Sure.
I enjoy that shit.
Sure, yeah. So we're going to be back next week with some LL Cool J. Hopefully it's not 28 albums. Hopefully we don't get into an era where it's like the getting jiggy with it bullshit.
Oh man,
I think there's going to be some of that.
Man, there probably is.
Yeah, but
there probably is. I don't remember him staying hardcore. He wanted to knock Mama out once, but I think by the end of it, he wanted to like shake that stanky leg or something like that.
Yeah. Brenda's got a big old booty or some shit.
Yeah.
But name one group, I mean, other than like the heavy hitters, you know, Led Zeppelin pretty much stayed consistent throughout their, you know, throughout their range. But name somebody that we reviewed that we didn't. There were albums that we disliked. You know, there's going to be some crappy music in there.
Yeah.
Except
for Tool.
Well, we haven't. I mean, I said people that we've reviewed.
Oh shit. Yeah. I'm trying to think of bands total, groups total, where I'm like every album. I mean, even though I don't want to listen to it now, since Nirvana only put out like 2.5, you know, I had no problem with that. Their discography, but again, there's no, you know, don't want to listen to it now, but it only counts to me if you're 5 albums or more into a career.
Yeah.
So I kind of tossed Nirvana out there. Yeah, they didn't make an album I didn't like, but they made like 2 and an unplugged album. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for a band to just have hits on every album impresses me.
Yeah. It's
except for the mix-up.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole thing was a hit since it won an award. What the fuck do I know?
Yeah. But I'm very glad that we dug into the Beastie Boys. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I'm really feeling good. Whereas some of the reviews, I thought, I'm never going to pick up this shit again. This is going to be the one. I'm going to pick some of this back up.
Yeah.
So it was good. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. It's a great time. And it kept the hip hop flame alive. I'm still not really feeling any kind of guitars or anything, just except for within hip hop, but we'll get there. I think it's working out well. We did 5 or 6 rock bands. Why not go 3 or 4 or whatever deep into hip hop? Like it rules half of what we listen to now. So why not include it in the process of doing this podcast? It's working out good so far.
Yeah, by the time we get to LL Cool J, we might be like, you know, we need some of that 70s guitar shit.
Maybe
some of that shit back.
Yeah.
Probably not, but we might. It might be a possibility. You know, my wife, you and I discussed. You know, need to feather in some female artists. You know,
and that's easy. Janis Joplin, Heart, Joan Jett, and the Blackhearts. Like that's easy. And I, you know, that'll probably be. I would jump to a conclusion after whenever this hip hop run ends, probably transition to the greatest females of rock that we didn't give a chance.
I like that approach. I think that would be good. Yeah.
Got sections. And then we'll wrap it up with a review and Insane Clown Posse.
Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown. Yes, with Lil Hootie and the Blowfish on top. That would make one hell of a podcast. We'd be rich if we did that, but we're not gonna.
Let's stay.
We're not gonna. So we'll see you guys next week for LL Cool J, unless he's got 29,000 albums. Might take us 2 or a week and a half. I don't know, but I bet he doesn't have that many. I'll go less than 10. I bet he's got 8 or 9.
I'm guessing less than 10.
Yeah, I hope we're right. Because if he tells me to back that ass up, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the Beastie Boys as much as we did. Till next time. Thank you for listening to Stuck in My Generation. Again, if you want to suggest bands for us to listen to, send it over to stuckinmygeneration@gmail.com.